In this video, traders and investors, we're going to look at the Chinese economy. Hey guys, warm welcome to you. So in this video, quick video, we're going to look at the economy of China, some facts, some figures, some import sectors, some export sectors, and take some ideas from articles online from economists who are way more qualified than I am to talk about the Chinese economy. So without any further ado, let's get rolling. So the population of China is 1.4 billion, largest populace in the world, or the largest population country in the world. India pretty close behind at the moment though, but at the moment they take the lead. Let's have a look at the GDP, total GDP in trillions, 12.01 trillion, which is 15% of the world economy. US is 24%, China is 15%, but they are growing heavily year on year. Last year, or 2016 to 17, was 6.9% year on year growth. So pretty good. GDP per capita, quite low. Obviously got quite a high population, so that's why it's so low. $8,640 when you compare that to around 55 or 58,000 for the US. Top exports, this is interesting. Computers, broadcasting equipment, telephones and circuits. So we know that this is the kind of thing that's fueling the world at the moment. The big growth is in computers. I mean, that's a bit of a terminology, an old school terminology, but you get the idea, whether that is tablets, whether that is modern laptops, whatever it may be. Of course, telephones as well, big boom in those, broadcasting equipment and electrical circuits, along with a massive array of other stuff. You only have to go on some of the large websites like Alibaba, for example, and see all the factories on there, the kind of stuff they produce. It's pretty much anything. That's why it's the largest manufacturer in the world by far. Top destinations for these goods are, of course, US, Hong Kong, and Japan, and I would suspect somewhere along there Eurozone's coming in, and UK, anything like that. Top imports, we've got crude oil. They are really hungry for crude oil, and this is the kind of thing that affects the crude oil price. When China slows down, we see a lack of demand in crude, so crude price slows down. Of course, that then has a knock-on effect to the world economy, so you can see why China's so important, guys. Gold, of course, big importers of gold. Iron ore, which is the raw material needed to create all the stuff they've got, or they need, and cars. They're a big importer of cars because the quality of the cars produced outside the country is considered high, like the German manufacturers, Japanese manufacturers, etc. Top origins for these imports are Hong Kong, South Korea, US, and of course we're going to have Eurozone in there as well. Currency is the Renminbi, as you pronounce it, and the stock exchanges are Shanghai and Shenzhen. The major indices are the Shanghai Composite Index and the Shenzhen Stock Exchange Component Index. And you know what? Economy in China is so important for us as traders and investors, because, as I alluded to earlier, if it starts struggling, the whole world starts struggling. It's known as the world's biggest factory, and it's the biggest manufacturer of goods. And of course, manufacturing is at the heart of its economy, and it's the global supply chain. And we've got articles in here which say that a lot of the time they finishing off goods. So if you think about perhaps an iPhone's designed a lot in California, and then some of the raw materials are sent over to China, like the chips and what have you, and they're the ones that are putting everything together to a finished product and then shipping it back out. So it's kind of interesting to see the part they play into it. China is actually expected to overtake the US as the world's biggest economy by 2029 at the earliest, which is not very long. Big agricultural sector, of course, biggest employers in the country's agricultural sector, because we've got to feed a large population there. Services is growing. The country's kind of moving away from the cheap goods, but of course, they're still doing that. But of course, as the kind of wealth grows and the middle class grows and stuff, then perhaps they're going to come more into that kind of industry as opposed to producing what's can be perceived sometimes as lower quality goods for the world. The China, actually interesting here, the article says that China's moving from made in China to made by China, accelerating its technology ability so it can compete with more advanced Western and Asian countries. It's very protective about allowing foreign investment in, so it's kind of very interesting. Of course, the internet, there's a lot of stories around that, about the Great Firewall of China. We were aware of that kind of thing. So despite them being very, very powerful and very, very, very influential economically, they still have a long way to go, and imagine where they're going to be in 100 years' time, assuming nothing disastrous happens to the global economy in the meantime. Interesting stuff. All right, guys, that's the economy of China. To the next one. Bye-bye.